Alright, so I thought we'd start off this video with the first shop that's not in Kinji, not in Shimokitazawa, it's not in Kichijoji as well. We're here in Ueno. Ueno is more known as a transport hub and a food and drink kind of place as well. A lot of shopping streets, and a famous one kind of pretty close by as well, but nestled within that is this first shop, and it's called UpperUpper. They've got two levels. The basement level is more certified streetwear, so you got your 80s, your 90s, 2000s, sort of NBA, MLB, NFL, NHL type of memorabilia. Definitely a lot more sportswear sort of based type of stuff. Whereas the ground level, your first floor, is more your quintessential type of workwear. So you got your Carhartts in there, you got your Nauticas, you got your Ralphs, your Tommy button-ups, that type of genre of clothing. So highly recommend it. And so many people walking by that it's tough to film, but anyway, I'm outside the next shop. Right behind me is a shop called Banny's, one of my favorites and one of my go-tos whenever I'm kind of in this Urahara area. I can unequivocally say that Banny's definitely is a very well curated store, very intentional in the type of items and type of stock that they bring out every single time I visit. In my personal opinion, I always feel Banny's has the best of the best when it comes to these brands. I couldn't film inside unfortunately, but I try to get a few phone shots here and there, but highly recommend checking out Banny's. Let's go to the next shop, bro. I'm in Harajuku, and right behind me is a store that I would say is a mainstay in the vintage or thrift community here. A very popular store that a lot of people, both tourists and locals, go to. This is Kinji. I would describe Kinji as very similar to this kind of American Goodwill type of establishment. Massive floor space, discounted pricing, not too much brand curation in here. If you're looking for more of a bargain and you got a bit of time on your hand as well to do a bit of searching, do a bit of digging rack by rack, Kinji is definitely the spot to do that. So I'm gonna go inside. This shop right behind me is called Amber Line. I've been shopping here for years now. Really a well-rounded and well-curated sort of outdoorsy, sportswear-based type of store. Dedicated sections to polo as well, as you can see hopefully in that kind of array over there. Different sportswear behind me and just more inside as well. Definitely recommend checking out Amber Line, one of my favorites in Tokyo, and particularly if you drop by Kichijoji as well. Its whole shopping street is amazing. Heaps of shops and a park down there too, so highly recommend it. Right, just made it to the next store. And in my opinion, this street is one of the best streets to do a bit of thrift here in Kinji. You've got the Goat Whistler just down there. If you've seen my other video, you'd know. Right behind me, but it's closed today, is Ria, which is Tokyo's best polo collection. And there's just a crap ton more shops that way, and I guess down the road there as well. Anyway, the focus of this segment is obviously the shop behind me in green. This place is called SO Clothing. Definitely one of my favorite places to shop when I'm looking for particular items. For example, Eddie Bauer knits, Carhartt Detroit jackets, even things like Barber, Bedell and Beaufort jackets, Patagonia chinchillas, that type of genre of clothing. Please feel free to check out SO as well, you won't be disappointed. Let's go. Another institution here in Tokyo, here in Kinji. I'm outside TreFac Style, aka TreFac Style. And the one thing I love about these guys is actually the contrast in items they have. You can go from a cheap pair of unbranded jeans to a $1,000 pair of Levi's 501s. They've got some vintage Louis in there, vintage North Face, even some Supreme kind of stuff as well. So again, heaps of variety. Definitely recommend checking out TreFac Style. I'm pretty sure there's one in Shimokitazawa as well from memory. Plenty more throughout Tokyo. Let's go inside and browse the shelves. If you know your way around here, you'll be familiar with that yellow storefront right behind me. The apartment specializes in East Coast clothing, and from my understanding, I think it's a mix of like vintage and also dead stock items. There's a lot of Nike, Champion, North Face, Timberland, Starbridge, I think, there's Wrangler, a lot of polo here as well. That type of genre of clothing, always plentiful. This next store behind me, as you can see, is called Micmo. These guys are a relatively famous chain. I think there's like 3 or 4 different physical stores just in Shimokitazawa alone, which is insane. I think it's more volume driven. I'm not too sure if there's many differences between the actual stores themselves. Highly recommend it if you're looking for more mid-tier sort of pricing, if you're looking for the kind of New York Joe, Chicago-esque style of shop. This is definitely the place to go, so let's go inside. And outside a personal favorite of mine, here again in Shimokitazawa, this place is called Brick. Leather jackets, varsities, any sort of Harringtons, I always come to Brick to see what they have. From my understanding, it's a one-man band here at Brick. You always see the owner just steaming his clothes. It's very well curated, as probably I've been repeating for the past 10 minutes or whatever. I'm here kind of in this part of Koenji called Koenji Look Street. It's about a 800-meter or so walk away from the south exit of the station. And this next shop is called Top of the Hill. Top of the Hill is very similar to another shop around here called Big Time, so very similar stock, very similar store layout and kind of concept as well, which is kind of that vintage Americana, cowboy, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s type of style, western, all those type of superlatives or descriptions. That's kind of what Top of the Hill is.